Well, hey everybody, welcome to the Meno Lounge. I'm Julie Gordon White, CEO of Boss Bars, Menopause Energy Bars. How are you? It's Tuesday. You know, it's my favorite day of the week to be here with you. And today I'm super excited because I'm talking to my person, which I hope is your person. Let me see if I can find her here. I see you. Hey there, Jennifer. Welcome. You're hopping in so quickly here. Let's see if I see you. Dr. Joelle, here you come. Let's see. This is always the fun part. I wish you could do this in advance. That would be even better. There you are. Hi, Angela. Okay, today, hey there, her MD, how are you? Good to see you. Here she comes. Hi, hi, hi. How are you? I feel like this
Hello, how are
conversation is
you?
so
I'm good. How
overdue.
you doing? I know.
Oh,
I
I'm so
know.
great.
How you
Thank you.
doing?
So excited. Anytime I can talk about menopause and business in the same conversation, it's like, oh, like that's my jam, right?
Exactly, exactly. I'm excited too. I'm very excited. I'm so happy to, like you said, finally be connected
Super
and
fun,
doing
super
something
fun.
together.
So, for
So,
proper introduction, this is Dr. Joy L. Ballard, aka MD, OBGYN, aka the menopause mogul, which, hello, like that just blew my mind. All right. Um, I just want to jump right in as women are joining us right here. How do you go from being an MD OBGYN to a business coach? And I coach women in business for 10 years. So let's go. How do you get there?
I know. I know. Exactly. Exactly. We need to
Def-
talk. We'll talk
all
more
that.
again next week
Love
about
it.
all of that. But yes, thank you for that question. And it's so funny, Julie, that I did not, obviously imagine myself calling myself a business coach, right? Like you said, I've been an OBGYN. I was in private practice for 12 plus years. And things change, right? Like we talk about menopause and transitions. I had the inkling of, you start your own brand and start a business. And I have to say, initially I was like, what? Like what? Like, wait a minute, God, like that's not what I wanted. I
Right.
went to
Right.
school
Like,
all these
I
years
went
and
to medical
training
school and now what? Yeah.
to exactly and to do this thing that I know how to do. Now you want me to start a business, which I felt like I had known nothing about. They don't teach you how to run a business
They
in
don't
medical
teach you
school.
about menopause and they don't teach you how to run
Right.
a business,
So
right? So,
that part, exactly. That part also. Yes, yes. So yeah, and so I had, God put the seed in my head, but I was resistant. I had to admit that I was resistant initially. And then I started my journey, my own personal journey with perimenopause and how I was struggling and doing all the things. And I got that thought like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing and sharing with the rest of the world, right? So sharing that journey, and then also having that another the seed coming together of like connecting that along with a transition into entrepreneurship, which was dramatic. Like I said,
right.
for me as a physician, you go to medical school to become a physician at somebody's hospital,
Right. Right.
somebody's practice, and that's it, right? So changing that narrative. So my whole mission is changing the narrative of, you don't have to, stick with this one thing that you've been doing and training for years. You can transition to something totally different. Not, I'm still, in the obviously in the realm of women's health,
Mhm.
but with a different spin on it, because the connection between, as you know, menopause and all the things you go through as as a menopausal or perimenopausal woman, and then try to do another big thing like starting a business. It's like those are some huge
Transition on
transitions.
transition,
Like,
right.
oh
Transition 10x.
my,
Uh-huh.
exactly,
Exactly.
exactly. Right, right. So I really wanted to help women make those two transitions gel together, like as comfortable as possible.
Yeah,
right?
as possible. That's an important little caveat there, because none of those things, starting a business, growing a company, starting menopause, perimenopause, nothing about any of those things are comfortable, but finding your place in them and accepting the discomfort as part of the growth process, there's comfort in that. I'm with you.
Yes.
So do you
Right.
still practice now
Exactly.
privately? So
Exactly.
because a private practice is a business, and I think I want to make sure that we acknowledge doctors, MDs who are running a private practice. That is a business that most people are not prepared for, right?
Right. That is very true. So I was actually part of a group
Okay.
practice. So I was a partner in that practice. So yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely running a practice is a business. So yeah, I actually resigned from clinical practice in 2021. So I have to also say that the pandemic pushed me, right? So the pandemic happened. So, the thing was kind of, the wheels were turning. I'm like, all right, God, I'm going to do a little here, a little there. But the pandemic happened. And he was
Here's
like,
your chance.
okay, there you go. Just
love
go do
it,
it now.
leap or turn around and keep, stay where you are. Exactly.
Exactly. So yeah, I made that jump, took that leap of faith, and here I am. Which, like I said, as physicians, a lot of physicians are very afraid, as I was myself, to do such a thing, because again, like, we're so conditioned of, staying on one track and not really branching out and thinking outside of the box and figuring out how else we can use our skills and talents that we've acquired over the years for something else. And we're, giving ourselves permission to do something different. And just as an aging woman, right, giving yourself permission to actually do something that you kind of been thinking about for a long time, but never really felt comfortable or have the, felt brave enough to do it, but having that thing to say, like, hey, why can't you do this? Like, why can't you
I
do
love
it?
it. I'm
And just go
all
ahead and
about,
do it.
I always say, if you get the whisper, it's for you, because not everybody gets the same whispers.
Yeah.
So if you hear it, can't not do it. I'm just saying. So
Exactly. And I think a lot of women, even for me, it was like, they think like, that was just a random, it's
right.
not really for me. It was like a random thought. But like you said, certain people are called to do this, into entrepreneurship, because this is not for the faint of heart, as you know.
No, starting this company, this is my third company. So I think I qualify for serial now,
Yes.
but at 55, it's different. It's very different than my other two companies that were equally challenging, but I had a different energy level. Just the way, the approach, I think I worked harder in a different way. I describe it as pushing a boulder uphill with, to grow those companies, versus now with wisdom and age. Hopefully I'm growing this one a little smarter, less harder, less ego, for sure. A lot less ego. When you're committed to a mission, then you need all the right people, you need everything around you to achieve that impact. And so maybe a younger entrepreneur before your midlife or menopausal, some stage, you really want to own all the credit for all the stuff. And when nothing wrong with that, but you get to a stage where it's even bigger than who you are as an individual. So whatever it takes, right? So Menopause mogul, how did you land on that? Why did you land on that? I want to know.
Yes, menopause mogul, right? Like you said, it's bigger than me, right? Like, being a mogul, you think of mogul, like, that's huge, right? And I think when people think about menopause, it's like, oh my gosh, it's menopause, doom and gloom, but it's huge, right? So I wanted to gel them together. Like, they can both happen at the same time. They can happen at the same time. And menopause can actually propel you or springboard you into that next level where you are doing some badass stuff, right? So I, came up with the menopause mogul because I wanted to not only make just a little bit of an impact. I want to make a huge impact in a lot of women's lives around the world, just to inspire, motivate, activate them into thinking of menopause in a different way, as well as approaching their dreams at the same time. Like, menopause does not have to be the end of your
No,
dream. Like, this
right.
is
It's a
actually the beginning.
kickstart.
This
It's
is
a
where you
calling
this is
back to
where this is where
yourself,
you
right?
start.
Back to your
Exactly. This
body
is
for
where
sure. And then
exactly.
all the other goodness that's
Yes,
there.
definitely.
Yeah. I'm with you. Mm-hmm.
Right.
So how has
Yeah,
being
definitely.
an
Definitely.
MD informed how you coach? Because being a doctor, extremely detailed, business is also extremely detailed, but how have you brought the two? How has one informed the other?
Yeah, that's a great question, Julie, because I have to admit that when I decided to call myself a coach, I'm like, am I really a coach? Like, is that? But when I think about all the things that I've done in as a private in my group practice as a physician, seeing all the women that I've seen in my practice, I've been coaching. I've been coaching, right? But in a business sense, as a physician, you do the coaching, but you just think about it a different way. You're just thinking about the treatment plan, the diagnosis, and the treatment plan. As an entrepreneur and into business, the coaching is a little bit different, in a sense that I want to make as a bigger impact. Like, in the office, you see the patient, you may see them once or twice, and will they come back? They may come back, they may not. But and you only see them for 15 minutes. Like, it's like a very short period of time, as opposed to coaching. I'm actually spend time with these women and able to actually really dig deeper into all of the levels that occurs with us as women, like all the layers,
Not just
the
the
mental, the
one
physical, the
problem they
emotional,
came to talk
and
to you
bring in
about. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
exactly, and gelling that all together. In that position, I also bring in the physical and the mental things that I've learned, through, practicing, medicine. I can bring that into coaching, as well as all the mindset stuff that happens,
Which is
in the
huge.
midlife realm.
That's huge all by itself. But I love, especially
Yeah.
from a physician's perspective, that you are an expert at diagnosing a problem. And in business coaching, advising entrepreneurs, you've got to always start with understanding what the real problem is, right? They may come to you thinking that it's this problem in their business, or not, or the business they don't have, and it's actually something else. And same thing in menopause, right? Same thing, that, oh, I'm having this one experience, I can't sleep, but it's actually related to something else. Maybe it's thyroid. I mean, all kinds of things can happen. So I can really see how the two could work very well if you can get out of your own mental way of, I've invested all this time in medical school and now I'm making this humongous pivot, right? And not listening to family probably that have a few things to say about it.
Oh my gosh. Like, are you still a doctor? Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm still a doctor, but I'm now a business coach also.
That's huge. I mean, that takes so much courage. I really want to commend you on that, because, as women, especially in midlife, when we're making these big changes, maybe kids are going off to college, maybe you have a different partner, or you've been married a long time, so you're reinvesting in your own marriage, but you're making some really big moves in midlife. I think, are you finding that too with your clients? I mean, women are called, I think especially women, because we've been taking care of everybody else for so long, that we finally are called back to ourselves. And it feels like some really big moves are out in the ether, waiting to take us away. So it takes a lot of courage to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It does. And like you said, it's very scary, as we are, like you said, we're so used, and that's what I incorporate into my coaching, that, we are so used to taking care of everybody else, doing all the things for everybody else. And when we now decide to be like, okay, maybe I can do something for myself, we have guilt. We feel like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do this because this will take away from this person or that job or whatever that thing. But actually, making them realize that actually prioritizing you, this is your time. Like, this is the best time that you do this, that you are able to, like I said, get back to yourself and be more self-aware and truly figure out what you desire and what you want and need in this season of your life, so you can move yourself forward and keep going, even when it's scary. And start to learn more about yourself. You can trust yourself and trust your decision, all those things you need to do when you're making these big transitions. So yeah, it is very, very scary.
Right.
But
it's scary. I love that. It's scary and
right?
necessary. But also, I always say empowering. It's so empowering to lean into something that feels uncomfortable and you just decide to take it on, right? Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
exactly.
when women come to you, are they saying, okay, I'm just starting a business and I don't know what to do? Or are they growing a business? Who's showing up in midlife and needing some business coaching from you?
Yeah. So most of the women that I've been coaching have the thought of a business or building a business, but they don't know what to do. Number one, and number two, there are other things that are going on in their life, whether it's them internally with menopausal symptoms versus there's also just midlife thoughts that we have as women, the thoughts of the self-doubt, the lack of confidence. Because I also feel like, we have menopausal symptoms. Sometimes it's not really about the symptoms, it's about how the symptoms make us feel.
Huge.
They make us feel less confident. They make us feel like we're not good enough. They make us feel like, oh, maybe I can't do that. Maybe I'm too old for this. So it's those women who have, either the thoughts or the symptoms or both, and they're trying to build and start a business and launch a business. And those are most of the women. I have a couple that, have started, but, trying to grow, but haven't really done a whole lot because of, again, the same similar things as far as the thoughts and feelings.
I call those
they have
started
about
with
themselves.
stuff, right? So yeah, beautiful. That's really
right,
good that you can help them get in there and push them out of that, that place where we get stuck between two rocks. And it usually has so much to do with mindset more than anything. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I specifically, work with Black women because it's just a whole nother, as you know, added stress of being a Black woman and trying to do, again, all the things for everybody else, but also wanting to do this one thing for yourself that you're really passionate about, but again, feel, just overwhelmed by all the things that we think about, the lived experiences as a Black woman when we're taking care of our children, being the head of households, all the things that we do. I, particularly work with Black women because you also, with menopause and perimenopause, that can also look different and be more stressful because of the things,
we know
how it operates.
Studies that
women.
have been written about how Black women experience menopause often in a more intense way, which can be brought on by stress and many, many other things. Also our beliefs around it. I mean, it's a huge ball of everything going on there. So that's beautiful, though. Exactly. I love that you do that. I think entrepreneurship is one of the most empowering thing a woman can do. I gave a TEDx talk about why women entrepreneurs should raise girl entrepreneurs. And it was really that I believe that all women need to know how to make their own money. Whether, even if you're in a long-term relationship or you're independently wealthy, everyone needs to know how to make their own money. And because you never feel like a victim that way, and when you're depending on other people, whether that's a partner, a spouse, a person, a job, a boss, and you don't know how to make your own money, you're always going to be at the will of the other person. And so I have 2 sons and a daughter. They're all, they all have jobs. Well, one's still in college. Come on, out. But get off the payroll. But different life. But they all have an entrepreneurial spirit. And so I think it's so empowering for women, for Black women, for all women to know, and girls to know how to make their own money. Then you always can, you're in charge of your own life. That's what freedom is all about. That it doesn't mean that you're always going to make the most, but you have the most choices, and choice is the ultimate freedom, I think. So.
Right. Yes, I love that. Yes, I
thank you. I hope you liked it. I need No, I'm just kidding. Seriously.
I think I did. But yeah, you are so right that and I have 2 girls that are 10 and 12 and a son that's almost 8. So, and they all have entrepreneurial spirits because I'm like, listen, like y'all can get a job or a career in something else if you want to, but we all need to be having some
You
business
need to
around
know,
here.
because if you want that bike, like, well, how much are you putting in? We got you, but how much are you investing, right? Because everybody cares a lot more about their stuff when they have some skin in the game. So I'm all about that. All about that. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. But like you said, it's important for people, women to know that, this is an option. There are other options out there that, you have your own business, like you said, gives you more choices and give you more freedom, that you don't feel tied to that, that one job or that one position that you're in. Like, you have the ability to branch out and, do either a side hustle or do a full on business, because you have that spirit and that will to
confidence,
that.
right?
So,
That's where all that good confidence comes from. Okay, so let's just talk about one of the things you say is about self-care and soul care. And so what's the difference between self-care and soul care? I think that's such a beautiful concept.
Yeah. So everyone kind of knows self-care, right? Like, oh, we got to do the self-care. And I will have to say, for me, when I was going through my perimenopausal journey, self-care saved my life, honestly. Like, I was that person who was doing all the things, right? And I had to redefine what self-care meant, because my idea initially was,
I know.
okay,
why do we all go to like have a massage? I love a massage, but as soon as you leave, everybody's asking you what's for dinner, and you just spent $200. Like, that's not enough.
Exactly. It's like the chaos never left. It's still there, and you still like, oh my God, like what just happened? So yeah, that was my initial thing. Like, yeah, girl, get a massage every month and you'll be fine. And I did that twice, and I'm like, I
only feel
like
great while I'm there on the table.
So what else can
After
I
that,
Exactly. Yeah. So I had to redefine what self-care looked like. And what I coach my clients on is, that's what they have to do, is figure out what does self-care look like. And it has to be something that, not something that you get to do, but something that you have to do, right? For self-preservation, and something that you have to make a lifestyle, something you can do every single day, that you pour into yourself and do the things that bring you joy every single day. As opposed to soul care, which is also just equally important, speaking to your actual spirit and your heart and soul, right? Like, do the thing that, just really lights you up. And, self-care can be, do a little nice bath or reading a nice book. But soul care, like, what really just fills your spirit, and you're like, whoo, I'm just ready to take over the world, because it just just filled my spirit. I can just go out and do whatever the thing that I want to do. So really speaking to those things and doing those things that actually supports and nourishes your soul and your spirit, and that gelling with the self-care things, I think that makes a world of a difference for you to be able to show up powerfully in the world, and as your authentic self, because you're really being true to you and doing the things that you really love to do and really fills your spirit, so you can just do whatever
I love that because the way you describe it, soul care, it's like you always have it with you. You can always tap into it because it's internal, versus self-care, which is often external, something we do outside of ourselves. And we need to have that place to tap into on those hard days at work, or dealing with kids, or when you're feeling extra wonky because of all the things that you're going through. So I love that. So let's talk about some tips. I love tips. I know you have some tips to share with women that want to start a business in midlife. Maybe they've started and they're stuck. And so give us some tips to help women get over the hump, and how they manage their menopausal experience while they are growing that business, because the two together can be a lot.
Yes, exactly. So I want to just begin with, what I initially said is really learning how to prioritize yourself, right? Giving yourself permission to prioritize you without the guilt. Because I think that's the big thing. When you're trying to start a business and you're life still be life, right? Like life.
Oh, like you start a business? Okay, we'll be nice now. Not ever, no.
Exactly. Not ever, no. not happening. So if you learn how to, put yourself first on your list of things to do or things to take care of, I think that allows you to have more energy and just more clarity, because you are, again, tapping into you and figuring out, what you want. Oh, I'm feeling this way. I'm feeling tired today, or I'm feeling, having brain fog. What's happening? What do I need right now? Asking yourself those questions, like really tapping into you and ask yourself the important questions so you can do what you need to do to, kind of pour back into yourself so you can work on the business. Right?
Because sometimes if you're having a brain fog day, then you shouldn't be working on your financials, right? That is not the day to work on the numbers.
Yeah.
But what else can you do that's more productive in that field?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. And also give yourself permission to be like, okay, I'm just going to rest today. I'm just not going to I'm just going to step away. Because I think also we put ourselves so much pressure, like it has to be done like right now, like right this very second. Now you can just walk away for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour, or even a day, depending on what the thing is. Walk away from it and be okay with that. And because, for me, I know initially when I started out, it was like I would, walk away, but still like thinking about it, like, what else can I do? But actually walk
calm
away,
down, right? Stop
totally,
constant input in the ears 24/7. Right. Like actually go on a walk, like a real walk, like a nature walk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Exactly. So that's one thing. And then another thing would be I coach my clients on changing the relationship that they have with themselves, right? Because as we are, going into menopause, as we are transitioning into entrepreneurship, we have to be a different version of ourselves as we're going through these transitions, right? So being able to be aware of that, and accepting of that, because I think a lot of us like to hold on to how we used to be and what we used to do and how we used to do things. And we have to be okay with like, I feel a little different. I think a little different. I mean, obviously I have so much experience and, but it's okay for me to evolve into something different. Right. And not judge ourselves for, whatever the thing
all of them all the time. Yeah.
Right. And have more grace and have more compassion for ourselves. So I think that's also important. And I think the third thing would be changing our response to the whole menopause transition. Because I think when we're going through different changes in our bodies and our minds, we're like, again, just very resistant, and we can get very frustrated and very whatever that negative feeling is. If we change our response to that and be like, okay, this is what's happening. Let me figure out or try to figure out why it's happening, and ask myself, okay, what do I need? Do I need rest? Do I need to not eat that thing that I truly love, like chocolate or cheese or whatever that thing is? Like,
have a double chocolate brownie bar instead. I guarantee you'll be a lot more productive.
Hey, those bars, but those bars are good.
Good. They're good brain food for business. I need them for myself. So yeah.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, being able to change your response, because I think a lot of times when we're, even when we're building a business and going through menopausal symptoms, we get brain fog or we get a hot flash or whatever that thing is, we get very frustrated, and that causes more stress. But if we just take a step back and be like, okay, this is happening, I'm having whatever, whether it's brain fog or a flash or whatever that is. Okay, what do I need right now? Do I need more water?
Yes.
Do I need my fan? And just giving yourself that, like, don't just try to ignore it and just try to like fight it. Like, give yourself the time to figure out what that is, what do you need, and serve that need so you can continue to move on and to work in your
I love it. Midlife is not the time to power through stuff. We powered through things in our 20s and our 30s and maybe even our early 40s. But it's just, we don't need to power through. I love what you're saying. What do you need? give yourself that grace, figure that out, because that is our superpower, knowing what we need and then leveraging that into achieving what we're trying to achieve versus just muscling our way on through. It doesn't work anymore anyway, though. I don't think so. Yeah.
It doesn't.
You wreck yourself.
And it's exhausting. It's exhausting.
Not worth it. You can't achieve your goal if you're wrecked, right? So it's just, it does the opposite.
Right.
Jenny said,
Exactly.
serve the need. Serve the need.
Yeah.
So.
Serve the need. Yes, yes. Because I mean, I think, like I said, we've been doing it, I know, forever, like 20s, 30s, even early 40s, and we're so used to doing that. So we have to get, like I said, be able to pivot to just another version of ourselves that we can serve ourselves better, and serve our own wants and needs, in a better position, so we can, do the things that we want to do without getting so overwhelmed, without getting burnt out, within within a month of actually doing the thing.
I agree so much. We fight change often, and it's very energetically draining to fight change, but we are changing all the time. The skills, you're the doctor. The cells we started this Mental Lounge with, we've already shed those, and we have some new cells already, right? Just in this half an hour. So we're always changing, and it doesn't discredit or dishonor who we were before. We get to bring all that goodness forward, but if we use that at it can become an anchor, a huge weight if we're not willing to evolve into who we're becoming, because we're becoming it anyway. So we should just embrace it. It's cool over here, right? So, and we need cool.
It's cool.
Like literally, cool. We need cool. All those things. I love it. Right. So what's up for you going forward? How do women find you and learn about, how do they know they're for you? How do you know your women are for you and they're for you? Like, how do you figure that out? What's a good match? That's the best way to say it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Thanks for that question. So the best match, like I said in the beginning, Black women high achieving Black women, 40 and over, who want to start a service-based business. That service can be therapy, it can be consulting, whatever that service is. They want from the service-based business, but they feel stuck and overwhelmed with menopausal symptoms or midlife thoughts of, like I said, less confidence, self-doubt, whatever those things are. I coach those women on how to change the relationship that they have with themselves, change their response to what's happening within their bodies, mentally and physically, so they can gain the power, the authentic power that they have already within them, and also the clarity, energy, and focus to build the service-based business and also thrive mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
People.
So those are my people.
I love it.
Those are my people.
I was stalking your IG page, and I saw this great reel you guys did with a bunch of 40-year-old female doctors doing the cuff it dance. I was like, oh my, yes. That was so cool. Just, so many high achieving Black women, one spot doing the thing, having fun, so smart. It's really empowering. I love it. Inspiring.
And did you see me in the front? They call me, I was Beyonce, by the way.
You know what? I'm always saying, I'm not dancing on reels. I'm not going to do it. But I'm watching like all those things like, oh, I think I really want to. So secret. Don't tell anyone.
Right. Yeah. That was much fun. That was so much.
Okay.
But people can find me. My people can find me on my IG page, Dr. Joyelle, DrJoyel. And we can certainly reach me in the DMs, and we can chat to see if you are a good fit for my Menopause Moguls program that's actually opening the doors in June.
And so there'll be a fun webinar that they can watch too, right? To get a little taste of Dr. Joyelle. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, that is coming in May. So follow my page
Beautiful.
For more details on that.
So let me just say, I have to ask you before we go, my favorite question, what does menopause like a boss mean to you? And I know you got a good answer for this, because if you're the menopause mogul, no pressure, okay? But if you're the menopause mogul, I really want to know what you think menopause like a boss is.
Menopause like a boss is making menopause your springboard for your next level. This is your opportunity. This is your chance to make, basically go into new levels of self-awareness, self-discovery, self-love, and radical self-care and soul care. So you can do all the things that you want to do and be all the things that God designed you to become.
Beautiful, beautiful. You did not disappoint. You had me at radical. So good, so good. Hey, Colette, it's good to see you. So thank you so much for being here. And I encourage everybody to follow you. Even if you're not a Black woman, you still need to follow Dr. Joelle because you're going to be inspired. She's got great insights, tidbits. Oh, Jill here says radical self-care and soul care. Love that. I know you do, Jill. Jill is the founder of Tenor Cellars, which is a brand that supports women in wine and all important issues around equality. So follow Jill and Tenor Cellars. Dr. Joelle, I know you two want to meet for sure. So super empowering women. I brought Dr. Joelle here because if you're thinking about starting a business in midlife, don't be afraid. Answer the call. I'm not going to tell you, Dr. Joelle and I are not going to tell you that it's going to be easy, but if it were easy, it wouldn't be fun. Okay? The end.
Right.
It's all about growth and challenge. That's where confidence and courage all come from. So I'm so honored to have you. Please, can we have a side conversation so we can start talking about all the things we didn't talk about today that we want to share?
Most definitely. I thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate this opportunity just to, chat with you. Definitely we'll have to, we'll chat again.
There's more to do. There's more impact to have from mindset, menopause, mogulness, all the good things. That's a beautiful thing. So the beautiful trifecta there. So thank you so much for being here. And I wish you the best. If we can help you in any way, reach out. To be continued. All the good things to you. All right.
Yes, same for you.
Yeah,
thank you,
thanks for being here, everyone. Everybody be well.
watching.
See you next week. Take care now. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye.